I'm repotting some crinums today, and as I mentioned in some other videos, I want to show you the difference in the root system, in the bulb system of a grand crinum and a regular crinum. Hi, I'm Elise. I'm glad you stopped by. If you get a chance, look at the videos. I made one on the white queen, the Crinum asiaticum, and also one on Queen Emma, the Crinum augustum. They are both the true giant or grand crinums. They get very large. I mean, my Crinum asiaticum, the white queen, is about 8 feet tall, something like that. And they can get even taller. I don't know how many true giants or grand crinums there are. There's 180 to 200 varieties of crinums. They're in the Amaryllidaceae family. We call them crinum lilies, but they are not lilies. And as I mentioned in the videos, I said one of the defining characteristics of this true giant or the grand crinum is the fact it does not grow on a bulb. So if someone is selling a bulb online and they say giant crinum, it's not this particular variety. So I just wanted to show this to you. And we dug this one up because it was getting really big and I wanted to go ahead and transfer it before it got too big to handle. These true giant crinums can get very heavy and very large. Once they get to a decent size, they don't like to be moved. Now, you can see some of the characteristics about the leaves. They're stiff and they're upright. They will fall with damage of old age. Now, this is the stem. No bulb. The whole stem or trunk serves as the bulb. And they don't have a real defined basal plate like the bulbs on the other crinums have. And it comes down in here. Unfortunately, we had a hard time getting it out, and we did cut some of the roots off. But it's okay. This is a very, very hardy plant. It's going to be fine. So it's just this great big column that serves as the stem or the trunk, and it can get huge with age. I mean, I've got some that I swear it looks just like an elephant's leg or trunk. They can get that big. Now this is a Cape Lily crinum, and it's a crinum that grows on bulbs. And as you can see, it has the nice drapey leaf effect. This particular variety may get to 3 or 4 feet tall, but that's all. And look at that huge root system. Now this is a tunicate bulb. And it's called a tunicate bulb because on the outside it will have a papery layer on it, just like onions. Now I've washed both of these off. You don't have to wash them off to replant them or to repot them. I washed them off just for the video so that you could see a little better. And the outer tunicate layer did wash off, but it's that papery thin layer. You know, like on onions, it's really, really thin. That's the tunic, and its purpose is to help protect the bulb from diseases, from dirt, debris, pests, things like that. So this is a true tourniquet bulb. The bulb itself is made up of layer after layer of compressed, specialized leaves. So when we eat onions and garlic, we're eating actually leaves. Do not eat anything in the crinum family. Crinums have various levels of toxicity. You never want to ingest anything from the crinum family, although they are in the same big order as onions and garlic. You don't want to eat these. Okay, so we come down here. This little ridge underneath the bulb is called a basal plate. sometimes called a basal membrane, and then all the leaves actually, the roots come out of that. If this has a baby, the baby, and I did remove a young pup, actually attaches on this variety to the basal plate and the stem. There are some varieties of crinums that put out a young pup out of this compressed leaves itself. So then we come back up to the bulb, and in the interior of the bulb it's going to put a stem out that produces the leaves. Later on it will put a stem out to produce your flower. So that's how easy it is to take apart a crinum bulb. Really, really nice. Okay, I'm going to repot both of these now. I have 2-gallon pots, some really well draining, just regular soil. Any potting mix that you want to use is fine. When you plant this, or any crinum, and I did cut about a foot of these roots off, that's how big it was. Try to spread them out a little bit. Try to spread your roots out just a wee bit. In fact, sometimes what I do, especially if I've got a bigger pot and there's room to maneuver, I will pile this up in the middle, kind of like a volcano top, so that it sits on that volcano top and the roots go down into the moat all the way around it. That's it. I'm going to put that down just a little bit lower though. I like for my bulbs to be right at the surface. So by the time I come back in and backfill all this, and this probably could go into a larger pot, but this will be fine for now. So when I backfill it and put it level with the pot, it's going to be pretty well level with the bulb. Make sure all your roots are covered. Stand it up straight, put it in the position you want, lightly snug it in, and that's it. New home. How neat. Put a label on it, water it very well, put it in indirect light for a few days till it gets over the transfer stress. I am going to come back, and both of these, after I water them really good and I let the water drain through, I'm going to give them some Epsom salts water. About a tablespoon of Epsom salts in a gallon of water, and then just pour it around some. Epsom salts has lots of magnesium, which helps the plants get over transplant shock. So that's it. Have to make my label so I know that this is the Cape lily. Cape lilies are a beautiful hot pink lily, and I will, and again they aren't lilies, and I will put a photo up on the screen to show you this beauty. Now, I got a 2-gallon pot for this, so let me see. Yep, that will work. I am going to drop it down a little lower. Snug it in. And I'm going to have to get just a wee bit more soil. Well, I'll do that off camera. All I'm going to do is come back, fill this in some more with soil, and it's going to be about up here on the stem, which is fine. Since this doesn't have a defined bulb, sometimes, if you aren't sure where, just put your hand over and see how far it comes up. If some of this is showing, that is fine. This is just going to brown off. All of these older layers of stems, of leaves, will just brown off, and that is fine. Okay, Let me get a little more potting soil. Okay, I've got some more potting soil. I'm going to stand this baby right back up, add some soil. Now, when I get this soil added, if I decide I don't like that depth, I can change it. But I think that depth is just fine. It's standing nice and straight for me. I like that. I'm going to snug it in very well, because you know when you water it, the soil will sink down some. So I think that is fine. Let's scan up and look. Standing nice and straight and tall. Really, really neat. That's it. So now you know the difference between a grand crinum stem and a crinum bulb, and a little basic anatomy on a tunicate bulb. If you get a chance, watch the other videos and see how pretty these grand crinums can get. Lots of difference. Cape lily crinum, grand crinum. And this is the white queen, the Asiaticum. It's going to produce those great big huge dinner plate size blossoms. Gorgeous. That's it. Now I have a few seedlings I want to transplant. I have 4 seedlings of the white queen, the Crinum Asiaticum. I grew from the little seeds. I've had 7 seeds that I put in a 2-gallon size pot. And I quite often do that. I'll put multiples of the seeds in the same pot. So they sprouted, they came up, and they're a nice size to transplant now. Nice little root system, nice little leaves. Okay, I suggested in one of the other videos that if you're going to buy or purchase something online for this particular grand crinum, to try to get seedlings. The seeds are fantastic, and the seeds for the white queen are fine. If you buy seeds for the Queen Emma, the variegated crinum, you can't always tell looking at the seed if you're going to get a white version, which is the Asiaticum, or if you're going to get a variegated version, which is the Crinum Augustum. Seedlings are the best way to go. Takes all that guesswork out for you. All right, so I have some little trade gallon pots ready. Little soil in it, they're moist. If you buy seeds on the seedlings online, or if you plant them yourself, they still might have a little bit of the original seed on them, which is fine. I leave mine on, I let it fall off by itself. That little bit of seed could still have some energy in it that is feeding the seedling. If it falls off, that's fine. Otherwise, just leave it. It will naturally desiccate and just go away. Again, no bulb. Even on the little ones, no bulb. All right, so just make a little depression. Try to spread the roots out a little bit and snug it in. It's that easy. Now I am going to come back and backfill this some more, so I might actually raise that one up just a little bit more. So when I backfill it, I don't want the green underneath the soil. In fact, I'm going to borrow some soil from another pot so I can get this one done. Make sure all the roots are underneath. Snug that in really good. All of the green part of the stem is up above the soil level, and that's what you want. You know, when you water your soil, it's going to compress some. So you can always put just a little bit more so that when it is watered, it will sink down a little bit. Or what I like to do is water all my pots a couple of times before I plant. So this is nice and moist soil. The plant is going into a nice environment. Isn't that neat? So let's plant this one that has a little bit of the bulb, or excuse me, of the seed still left on it. That seed isn't picky. You can have a little bit of it showing, or you can have lots of the seeds showing. To me, what is most important is that the green stem is above the soil line. When I water it, some of that little seed may show, but that's fine. And that's how pretty it is. Make sure it's nice and straight. All the roots are in. Nice. We'll do this one. Let's do this one. It's a little bigger and I want to go ahead and get it in. Again, no bulb. You have a straight stem or trunk. Nice root system. Spread it out. Sometimes it helps if you can hold that up to where you want it and then just fill in. There we go. Nice and straight. The green is above the soil line. It's tucked in very well. No roots showing. Neat. That's how easy it is to plant the seedlings. You can use the volcano method where you put a mound of soil right in the middle of your planting location. Doesn't matter if it's in a pot or in the ground. And then you spread your roots out and sit the base of the seedling on top of that little volcano peak. And then you fill in. It's that easy. That spreads your roots out and gives it a good start. All right, I'm going to spray these off, mist them really well, put them in indirect light, not hot sun yet, give them a little Epsom salts, and they'll be fine. And of course, label them. All right, I've got one more little one to plant up and I will get that done. Now, planting crinum seeds is very, very easy. I just took this one off the Queen Emma, the Crinum Augustum, because I wanted to show you this covering. Now, all of the seeds I'll be planting right now are from the Queen Emma, the Crinum Augustum, that beautiful variegated green and purple flower. If you get a chance, look at that video. They have a membrane on them that protects them. That membrane is going to dry up and eventually peel completely off, and you're going to be left with a little beige seed. Neat, huh? Now, you can plant them when they're at this stage, or you can let them dry up a little bit. I actually leave mine on the plant until they fall off by themselves. But I took this one off because I wanted to show you that membrane. And this is 2 seeds in here. I can feel it. Well, they're not ready to separate yet, but that's what these were. This was excuse me, in a clump, 2 seeds, and I separated them. I pulled them apart. I'm going to lay these aside because there's something I want to do with them. But most of the time you just get this nice little seed, size of a grape up to the size of a tennis ball. But they can be twins, they can be single, or they can have 3 seeds in 1 pod. Neat, huh? I want to show you something else. I mentioned before in the video on the Queen Emma, I would suggest you always buy seedlings. Now you can buy the seeds, sometimes they are quite pricey. The problem is on that variegated plant is you can't tell if the seeds are going to be variegated or if they're going to pick up the genetic material from the one parent that is solid green, which is the Crinum asiaticum. So if you've got seedlings, you don't have to worry about that. It's already done for you, that guesswork. All right, now these are some seeds I had laying on the table. I didn't get out in time. They got wet and they started sprouting on their own, just laying on the table, no soil, no nothing. That's how easy they are. Now I want to show you. They're both from the same seed pod. They're both from the same plant. This one is going to be variegated. The stem's already coming up variegated. This one's going to be green. Isn't that neat? Actually, it should go like this, with the seed and the stem. They grow on the side of the seed. So it really doesn't matter how you lay your seed down. It's going to orientate itself. I've just got some little pots, all-purpose soil. I'm just going to put 1 seed in each. I'm going to put the flat side down, snug it in, cover it up a little bit. You don't have to have it covered up a lot. The main reasons I like to cover mine up is to dissuade the animals from coming and eating it. And lots of times I'll put them in one great big pot. I'll put half a dozen in one big pot like the seedlings were. And that also works very, very well. And here's that little seedling. I'm going to lay it on the side and it can do whatever it wants to do. If you have them for a while and they're dried out, just soak them for a few hours to rehydrate them. While they are growing, they do like moisture. And of course, you'll want to make labels. A nice size one. That's it. So you want soft soil. You want to keep it kind of moist, but not enough that you actually rot the seed. And you want to keep it somewhere really warm. You can put it in the sun, put it in your hothouse, grow it indoors in a sunroom, whatever you have. So I will come back, and actually I'm going to put all of these in a flat. So I only have to put 1 label on. So I'll get some more little pots to finish these up. But actually, that's how easy it is. The seed is just 1 compartment. I've never had it dried out and indicate anything else. There's no husk, there's no shell, there's just this little membrane that's going to dry off. Very easy to plant. And in no time at all, I'm going to have little sprouted crinums. Now this is the true giant, the Grand Crinum, Crinum Augustum or Queen Emma. But you plant this seeds from the white queen, the Crinum asiaticum, the same way. They're just a little smaller, generally, and they take a little longer. But that's it. So I'm going to go and make some more pots, get my flat to put these in, make a label, water them really good, and put them somewhere warm. Neat. Well, that's it. We've seen what the base, the stem looks like. We've up-potted some little seedlings, and we planted some seeds. I'll talk to you later. Have a fantastic day.